this evening. It's flooding in the Rupununi, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Cultural Policy Advisor Ruel Johnson weighs in on the nation's crime situation. Caricom comes to a consensus on Venezuela's ongoing internal conflict. Pancap launches redesigned website. In the region, in St. Lucia, Prime Minister celebrates bump in tourism. And internationally, Putin and Trump meet for the first time since the 2016 U.S. elections.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Ramville Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. Caricom offers to facilitate discussions on Venezuela's ongoing internal crisis. Here's more. During the most recent Caricom Heads of Government meeting, Caricom Chairman Dr. Keith Mitchell declared the Caribbean community's call for a national dialogue in Venezuela. In fact, the heads of government have even offered to facilitate the discussion between Venezuela's government led by Nicolas Maduro and the various parties of the opposition.
Caricom Heads of Government call for all parties to commit to engage in a renewed dialogue and negotiation leading to a comprehensive political agreement with established timetables, concrete actions, and guarantees to ensure its implementation for the well-being of the Venezuelan nation. In this regard, Caricom Heads of Government offer their good offices to facilitate this dialogue.
For months, the nations of the Caribbean community were not able to create a concerted response to the ongoing political and humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. In fact, at the most recent meeting of the Organization of American States, 14 out of the 15 Caricom nations effectively blocked the multinational body from making a similar declaration. Much of it boils down to one word: oil. The Petrocaribe deal, amongst many other individual agreements, stood as the principal deterrent for some nations to take a stand. The hardline stance of Venezuela's foreign representatives as the internal situation descends into chaos had brought many to withhold making a statement on the matter for fear of economic reprisals from Venezuela.
Y no vamos a hacer que es lo que usted quiere y lo que está pidiendo es que Venezuela pida ser intervenido o tutelado. Esa sumisión a los poderes imperiales, aunque no le gusten a los representantes, algunos de los que están acá, se les nombre poderes imperiales, esa sumisión nunca la van a tener de Venezuela.
This past meeting of the Organization of American States saw Venezuela's foreign minister insulting other nations and storming out of the meeting. Nonetheless, the declaration of a united position on Venezuela, no matter how small, bodes well for regional politics, a fact that President Granger recognizes.
Guyana, of course, is the only Caribbean state with a land border with Venezuela. And we are obviously quite concerned with the situation in that country. And we will continue to work as a community, we will continue to work within the framework of the OAS to ensure that everything possible is done by other states in this hemisphere to ensure that there's a peaceful outcome, one that satisfies the people of Venezuela, and of course one that keeps the region as a zone of peace.
Ruel Johnson is the Cultural Policy Advisor at the Ministry of Education. However, when it comes to speaking frankly, he holds no bars. In a reflection on the crime situation in Guyana, particularly in relation to the recent failed robbery at Republic Bank, Mr. Johnson penned an op-ed in the Guyana Chronicle, in which he spoke truth to power. The op-ed is a must-read. Our reporter Wendell Jeffrey read the article and had an exclusive sit-down with Mr. Johnson.
In a very passionate 3,000 words op-ed in the Guyana Chronicle of July 6, 2017, Mr. Ruel Johnson shared aspects of his personal and private life as the background to validate the legitimacy of his frank and open assessment of the causative factors for crimes in Guyana. In the article, he cited the escalation in crime during the reign of Mr. Jagdeo. He noted that the PPP created a climate under which crime was fostered and escalated. When I caught up with Mr. Johnson at the business school in Brigham today, he sought to double down and even expanded on what he had written in his op-ed. He said that Mr. Jagdeo used the arm of the state to legalize corruption.
That I give my friend tons of concessions, amounting to billions of dollars. And somebody points out, as a super sad bill, that it was actually legal. Then I go back and retroactively change the law to accommodate that. That's an act of corruption. The fact that it's been legalized doesn't say that it didn't happen.
He said under the previous administration he was marginalized, even though he was only seeking to offer solutions. And while he is also critical of this administration, he feels that he has nothing to be afraid of.
No, I supported, I work for the current administration, and one of the key differences with this and the previous administration, that there's climate currently is one in which there's a greater freedom to express yourself. I spent a great deal of time for years, and I more or less said it in the editorial and other commentary, wherein I was offering solutions, and offering solutions, you were marginalized. I don't think the situation exists today, and if it had existed, I wouldn't be working where I work.
He said that crime is complex. It's a complex issue because we view it culturally, meaning that some crimes are more acceptable than others, or some people are allowed to get away with certain kinds of crimes.
It's a complex issue, particularly as I said with regard to how it is to be viewed from a cultural perspective, or going with a pen and robbing a bank. What we need to shift from is the thing where you think you can get away with robbing a bank and actually get away with robbing a bank.
Right.
Either way.
His basic argument is that those at the top are constantly engaging in behaviors that allow the onlookers to question their honesty and transparency. George, Johnson noted in his interview with me, as he did in his op-ed, that there are levels of responsibilities which must all be awakened in order to receive maximum results in the sufficient reduction of the incidences of criminality and criminal behavior in Guyana.
At the very end of it, I said that there are certain levels of responsibility. There is the government, there is the media, itself, there is the family, but more importantly, and I ended with this, there's individual responsibility, particularly for young people. I said that at the end.
In his op-ed, Mr. Johnson said, and I quote, "The responsibility for curing that disease rests upon the shoulders of an executive government that needs to set an example of contentment in the excesses of civic duties by not tarnishing itself with ill-timed salary increases and excessive entitlements like $500,000 housing allowances." Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Coming up on Headline News after the break. Government addresses widespread flooding in Region 9. And Pancap launches redesigned website.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
The founder and senior pastor, Prophet Wade Ridley of Restoration and Life Ministry Church, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Health, presents a health fair on Saturday, 8th July 2017 at the Restoration and Life Ministry Church, located on Caneview Avenue, South Rheinveld Gardens, between David Rose and Greenheart Streets. Come and access free testing for blood sugar, blood pressure, HIV, VIA, and blood group. Also, dental services, mental health awareness, TB sensitization, and family planning. Lots of side attractions for the children. Starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 3 p.m. Admission free.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
There has been widespread heavy flooding over the past several days. And according to Minister of State Joseph Harmon, climate change is to blame. But the government has a solution to address the immediate issue.
Many persons felt that climate change was a joke. You recognize now that the world's interconnected system is of such that something happens in one country and affects you in another.
Guyana is experiencing an unprecedented amount of flooding. As a low-lying coastal nation, Guyana is often at the whims of the tides. Flooding is not unusual, but such widespread water coverage has not been seen before. Region 9 does not experience such flooding, but major rainfall in northern Brazil has caused a domino effect that spills over into Guyana. This is a complicated situation that perplexes Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder.
What seems to be happening is the Amazon is backed up into the Rio Negro, which is backed up into the Rio Branco, which of course is backed up into the Ring and the Takatu. The Takatu is all border on the south, and the Ring is the border on the north, and they flow into the Rio Branco, and they flow down into Brazil to the others. And this is a problem, because what can you do about that? It's not a Guyanese problem, and it's a more difficult one to surmount, because while we could handle the situation to some extent on the coast, pumps, drainage, seawall, to Anita, what do you do in a situation like that?
The immediate situation is going to become more difficult, as this region of Brazil is expected to receive heavy rains over the weekend. Fortunately, Harmon announced that Guyana will work with Brazil to rectify the issue.
What we will look, we'll have a joint border, a committee that will look at all of these issues. So while it is something that we cannot do much about, we are taking whatever steps we can at the national level, and internationally we are engaging our neighbors to ensure that we can bring relief to the citizens of this country.
The committee will become active in the next 2 weeks. With an understanding of the increasing effects of climate change, the government of Guyana will make an emergency management forward operating base in Lethem. The intention is to solve future weather crises as they arise. Today, the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV/AIDS launched its redesigned website. Esther Sobers was at the unveiling and tells us more.
The Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV/AIDS, Pancap, officially launched its redesigned website at the Caricom Secretariat. Speaking at the launching was Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports, Ms. Nicolette Henry, who commended the efforts of the organization for its innovative measure for the fight against HIV.
They look to see many things, and more importantly, making AIDS, become totally eradicated and free in the Caribbean here from HIV and AIDS. And that has been described by many as ambitious, and I believe optimistic. It is possible, however, if we stay vigilant, and that is where the link with communication is particularly important. And so innovative measures such as this website here this morning that is modern is very helpful in getting us closer.
The new website will offer improved functionality, interactive features, and aim to intensify the level of knowledge sharing, capacity building, and networking among the Pancap partners.
Having reviewed the new website, I am pleased to say that it has the most up-to-date functionality. It is available in 4 languages, which means it's a truly Caribbean website.
The director of Pancap, Derek Springer, further stated that the website will function as a one-stop shop for users seeking to update information on the regional and global fight against HIV.
It is a go-to website, and we want to ensure that people see it as a one-stop shop, so that if, for example, anyone, whether it is a student, it is a politician, it may be someone from civil society who requires information in relation to HIV and AIDS, they can come to our website to access the information.
The new initiative is a product of Pancap Knowledge for Health Project, which is a collaboration between Pancap and the Johns Hopkins University Knowledge President Emergency Plans for AIDS Relief and United States Agency for International Development. I'm Esther Sobers, reporting for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Esther. City Hall has said that a challenging period is ahead as it pertains to the collection and disposal of garbage within Georgetown. Disposal contractors, Sevon's Waste Management and Puran Brothers Disposal have, quote, temporarily pulled their services pending payments from the council totaling some 300 million Guyana dollars for work done in the city. Town Clerk Royston King, in a statement, said, in the meantime, the administration of council will employ all of its resources using an interdepartmental approach to keep the city clean. A schedule of new collection arrangement and advisories will be published in the local media shortly, end quote. He also said that, quote, the council will also call on its loyal friends with the appropriate resources to help secure the integrity of the general environment of the city of Georgetown. Don't go away. Still ahead, we have our regional and international news.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
In news from the region now, in St. Lucia, the Prime Minister says the 5.4% increase over the same period last year is good news for the destination, which will see a number of new tourism developments in the coming months. HTS News Force has that story.
The tourism figures for this month have increased to 5.4%. Prime Minister Alan Shastey made the revelation at the pre-cabinet media conference on Monday. Additionally, the island has also recorded a slight bump in UK numbers. However, Shastey says Caribbean and yachting figures have dwindled.
The numbers for May were up, the tourism arrivals were up 5.4%. We saw a 3.5% increase in our US arrivals, 11% increase in our Canadian arrivals, and the UK was up. The markets that were down, the Caribbean was down 5.6%, and the yachting was down by 36%.
The Alan Shastey-led administration invested $4 million in the St. Lucia Jazz Festival when compared to $14 million in recent years. With the drop in tourist numbers from the Caribbean and yachting sector, Shastey says a different strategy may be needed to sell the island to these groups.
The fact that the Caribbean numbers were only down 5.6% and that the yachting was down 36%, I think reflects the fact that we did not have the money to do the marketing that we wanted to do for this year's festival. But I'm encouraged by the response to the Reggae and Soul Festival. I'm also very encouraged by the enthusiasm and the level of activity and how broad Carnival is this year throughout the island.
The SLTB recently stated that while 2016 was a trying year for the industry, 2017 looked promising. Gina Felipe, HTS News Force.
And internationally, meeting for the first time since the 2016 U.S. presidential elections, Russian President Vladimir Putin tells Donald Trump that he hopes their meeting at the G20 summit, quote, yields positive results. BBC has that story.
Campaign and questions regarding Russia's role in our elections.
We're just looking at live pictures of the two men. They're waiting for everybody to calm down around them, and then I suspect there'll be that handshake we're all looking at. But it has to say, President Putin, I'm being a body language expert now, he's sitting back in his chair looking fairly relaxed. Donald Trump, edgy, looking forward, he's talking. Let's just see if we can hear what they're saying.
Various things, and I think it's going very well. We've had some very, very good talks. We're going to have a talk now, and obviously that will continue. But we look forward to a lot of very positive things happening for Russia, for the United States, and for everybody concerned. And it's an honor to be with you.
Я очень рад с вами встречаться. Мы с вами обсуждали уже целый ряд вопросов и будем продолжать обсуждать целый ряд вопросов.
Alexander, I don't know if you saw that particular handshake. It wasn't the friendliest thing I've seen, but equally that wasn't that frosty either.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing the monitor here in Brussels, but it sounds like the president took a careful approach with his opening words. And let's wait to see what happens in the meeting. All this body language analysis is a little much.
Yeah, yes, and I'm not the one to bring it to you. But I just one of the criticisms there is of this meeting, this bilateral meeting, is the few number of people that are involved. Rex Tillerson is there, the two presidents, Rex Tillerson's equivalent in Russian ministry, and two translators, and that's it. Some say that's a problem. Actually, I'm just going to interrupt because we'll just see if Vladimir Putin's saying anything.
bilaterals and be able to resolve most acute national poverty issues, definitely we need personal meetings. And I'm delighted to be able to meet you personally, Mr. President, and I hope, as you have said, our meeting will yield positive results. And indeed, yes. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, will you raise the election hacking?
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now for the weather report. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and safetvguyana.com. You can also tune in on Sunday morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Monday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.